Hi, my name is Katerina with Libellula's Path. Libellula's Path is my business where I offer Akashic record readings as well as energy work. So as an Akashic record reader, I tap into the collective's Akashic records in order to offer messages during large and significant days that include portal days, lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, full moons, and new moons. So today I'm filming this on March 14th, 2025. And this is the day where the lunar eclipse is at its peak. It has begun the last 2 days, and today is when the lunar eclipse is at its peak. And from now up until March 25th, which is when the solar eclipse will occur, not only are there portals open that increase connection to higher consciousness, to other beings, if that's what you perhaps are looking for, and it gets us more in alignment with where we need to be. So right now, there's this kind of crunchiness going on. And when I say crunchiness, I mean our lives are getting very jumbled up. Things are feeling very chaotic. People are contacting us out of the blue. There are contracts that are not going through, or contracts that we did sign sometime in February that are causing us issues now. There are even actions that we are taking right now that are causing us forms of confusion and uncertainty, because right now there's a lot of questioning of our identity and our path. And during lunar eclipses, it's all about the shadow. So often our shadow self reveals itself at an even higher rate than a usual full moon or a new moon. And the reason why is because the moon represents the darkness within our soul. And we all are not perfect beings. We are human. So therefore we have darkness within us, whether that is jealousy, or whether that there's a part of us that doesn't want to succeed in the creations we're trying to create. Or there's this part of us that wants to self-sabotage our relationships because we believe we deserve to be alone. Or there's a part of us that doesn't fully love our bodies, and therefore there are triggerings around those pieces of not fully liking ourselves and not fully accepting our darkness. And the thing is that once we accept our darkness, we give it less power to control us. When we try to hide our darkness, when we try to hide our shadows, it gives the shadows more power to control us, because the shame we have around the shadows that we carry is what is a driving motivator to hide ourselves, our true selves, from others. And people who love you are going to love you unconditionally, irregardless of the darkness that you may have within you. And the thing is everybody has different levels of darkness. Some of us we master our darkness at a younger age or at an earlier stage in our life, and therefore we are perceived as more light. But when we are going through our dark shadows, we believe that we are worse than others, or we believe that we are more evil, or we have a hard time being vulnerable because we're afraid that we're going to get deeply judged. And that is such a deep symbolism for the lunar eclipse, is facing our darkness and accepting it and embracing it with love and forgiveness and compassion. And it goes beyond tolerance. And this is something that is so profound. And I think this really also marks daylight savings was this last Sunday. So there's more light in the physical plane. And when there's more light, often that prompts the darkness within us. So it's interesting how this lunar eclipse comes at a time that's very symbolic for humanity. And right now there's so much separation, whether it's politically or morally or in general or in religious factors. And the purpose for this separation right now is to eventually bring us all together. We are meant to be a unified community. We are meant to be a unified humanity. And when we judge others for their beliefs, and when we judge others for who they are, and when we judge ourselves for who we are creating more separation. And rather, when we radically accept others for who they are, and we embrace them, and no matter the beliefs that they carry, we are able to get to a frequency and a vibration of light that then leads us closer to a new world that's full of love and acceptance. And it goes beyond tolerance, but sometimes tolerance is the first step towards pure acceptance. Acceptance that people are not exactly you. People are not going to be exactly who you are. They're not going to carry the same beliefs as you. And that is okay, because we came on this earth, and earth was created in order for us to understand diversity, and in order for us to get beyond this prejudice and this discrimination that we have against those who are not like us. And it will then lead us to contact of other worlds. And that is something that I had been thinking about more, is when that happens, the reason why chaos is ensuing now is because we are becoming more resilient beings, and we are becoming strong, and we are understanding our deep internal strength. And without these challenging times, we wouldn't understand and fully appreciate the times where where life is more peaceful and life is more calm. And change is going always to be a constant. And it's so important to never get comfortable in the present moment, or how should I say, the better way to say it is to not get so comfortable and attached to the now, because the future always holds change. This moment will never be the same as the next moment. So instead, coming from a place of appreciation and gratitude rather than attachment and wanting to control the future and control others, we allow ourselves and we set ourselves free. So that is so important during this lunar eclipse and full moon. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was things that you can do during this time to harness the energy of the lunar eclipse / the full moon, as they are both very close together in dates. One is really taking time to understand, and I know a lot of people are feeling very triggered right now, and even there's sides of them that are coming out that they're surprised by, or that they feel hasn't come out in a long time. So when these parts of ourselves come out that we may find scary or repulsive or even we just in general don't accept these parts of ourselves that are coming through, it's so important to take time to give ourselves love. Setting a time every day to tell yourself, I love you. I accept you. You are beautiful just as you are. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of forgiveness. And I see you and I love you. And you can say this in the mirror. You can say this to yourself. You can journal every day and find 5 to 10 things that you love about yourself. You can look in the mirror and really look at the parts of your physical body that you have a hard time accepting, and tell that part of your body that you love it. Also, doing things that bring you joy, whether it's so diverse for so many people. If that's making a puzzle, or making a pot of tea, or putting your bare feet in the grass, or spending some time with your pets, or taking time in silence by yourself. There's so many things you can do, and that I know will probably resonate with you. So another aspect is, if you're very into crystals, which I am, finding a part of the outdoors where you can place it. If you have a lot of crystals like me, it may not be realistic to put all of them out, but a lot, or maybe select pieces that you really want to charge for this lunar eclipse out today, even the next couple days. This is Friday, so the next couple days in the weekend, if you're watching it during this timeline, putting them out in a place. I know where I'm living, it's raining, so maybe in a place that the rain doesn't fully catch it, or if you want the rain to cleanse your crystals, that's great too. So somewhere to supercharge your crystals and carry these crystals with you the next 5 to 6 months up until July, and see what they activate within you. And I wouldn't be surprised if they they trigger things that are ready to be released and are ready to be radically accepted. So those are a couple things that you can do during this lunar eclipse. I don't recommend during this time having big conversations around things that trigger you. I would spend more time by ourselves, kind of honoring deep reflection. And I would say towards the last week of the beginning of, honestly, April, I was kind of checking dates and timelines. April would be a really good time to start talking about start initiating conversations that you may find discomfort in. The reason why I don't suggest this next week or so is because Mercury in retrograde also began, and it's a triple whammy. Mercury in retrograde, which I didn't really address in the beginning of this video, Mercury in retrograde, the lunar eclipse, the full moon, all began within the same 3 dates. So Mercury in retrograde can cause a lot of miscommunication. So when you say something, the other person may hear the complete opposite, and you may create more conflict in your life. And people may take things more personally right now. Even yourself, you may take things more personally right now and be more sensitive to other people's energies and the conversations you may have with other people. So I really do not recommend initiating conversations that may be difficult with people that you in general have a harder time communicating with. I would say give it some time. April's a better time for those conversations. Of course, that doesn't mean that you avoid these people and that you don't have relationship with them. It's just maybe waiting until the time is more supportive. So, and I can create a separate video about Mercury in retrograde if that's of interest to any of you. But right now, the lunar eclipse and the full moon are very potent. So make sure to also give yourself time to rest. Right now, there is a lot of energetic downloads that are happening. And when I say that, I mean the dimensions above us. We are a 3D dimension, but when we tap into the 4D, the 5D, and beyond dimensions, we're able to receive downloads, especially in our sleep or throughout the day. And those energetic downloads, it's like when you're on your computer for too long and then the computer gets really hot, it's the same way with humans. When we receive energetic downloads that is supposed to elevate our frequency, we're going to get tired. We may get irritable. We may just feel even a little bit more hot, like our temperature may rise overall for the next couple days. We may also feel a lot of emotion because there's a purge that's happening right now. Grief is very prominent in the emotions that I tap into the collective. Grief and anger, which sometimes I believe all emotions are very interconnected in so many different ways. So grief is something that is coming up for people because grief initiates the release of something or the acknowledgement that things weren't as they were. Then anger is also there's a lot of anger directed at self. Collective is when I tap into the collective, but also when anger is directed at self, we tend to direct it at others as well. So the best thing right now is to find outlets to release that anger such as moving our bodies or journaling or even sitting with the emotion and not trying to change the emotion, but just sitting with it. Because when we sit with this emotion, which I was recently doing in meditation, when we sit with this emotion, we allow it to, we give it the space to move wherever it needs to move. For example, if we have emotion stuck in our throat chakra and our heart chakra, and we observe it, it may want to move into our solar plexus and then eventually maybe into our sacral and between our hips. And then it may want to flush out through our legs into the root, into Mother Earth. And that is the way, that is how we can allow emotion to move through our body instead of forcing it to move. When we try to force something, or we try to elbow it out of our mind, or we focus too much energy and time on the emotion, it then can be exacerbated, it then can feel worse, and it then can feel more uncomfortable. So being in a state of allowance and flow is going to be so helpful for you and for the collective right now. So I hope that you take care of yourself during these next couple weeks. And I know there's going to be a lot of things that come up for people, whether it's internally or in relationships. And I just prompt you to take it easy these next couple weeks. Do what you can to find moments every day to take care of yourself, to remind yourself that you are worthy of love, that you are loved, and that you are your biggest supporter, you are your biggest advocate, and you are your biggest partner. Or shall I say, not even biggest partner, you are the main person that will love you. Before anyone else loves you, it's so important to love ourselves. So I hope you take care of yourselves and you remind yourselves that you can do this. You are capable, you are strong, you are resilient. And until next time.